Hello and welcome back to my channel. So it is now Friday night, the night after my test day, or the first test day out at the track. Went pretty good. Had a few issues, a few problems, which I'll go over, but all in all it was pretty good. I've now got a pretty big list of things that I need to change, and some things that need fixing and replacing. But all in all, it was very successful. Motor went relatively good the whole time. I did have some overheating issues, which I'm not 100% sure on the cause of. It just could be lack of airflow through the radiator. So what I might actually try to do is get some more duct into that, and I might have a look at putting in a high flow thermostat or removing the thermostat altogether. But yeah, no, it was really good, and yeah, I'll run through some of the issues that we had. Alright, so in a second I'll show you a video clip from the first run. Unfortunately the GoPro camera housings had fogged up a little bit, so I'm sorry about the footage. It's a little bit cloudy, but I mean you'll see what's going on. In the first run I must have done about a lap and a half before my brakes started to get really bad. And pretty much by the second or third lap, the brakes were almost to the floor. Also my seat rail, because I've got a sliding seat rail in the car, purely for the fact that I want other people to be able to drive the car. But that actually let go, I don't know, maybe on the third lap or something. And every time I hit the brakes, the seat would slide all the way forward. And every time I hit the gas, the seat would slide all the way back, and I couldn't reach the pedals anymore. So that was a bit of a scary moment, but it was what it was. The temperature stayed relatively cool. It stayed about 89, 90 degrees the whole time I was out there. That wasn't really a problem. Came in, it was fine. Parked up, it just had smoke pouring off the brakes, but other than that, everything was good. So that was pretty good. Yeah, so here I'll show you a clip of the first session. Times were pretty slow, and I got held up behind a couple of cars as well, but purely for the fact that I probably could have passed them if I'd wanted to, but I just didn't have any faith in the brakes, so I just stuck behind them, and that it wasn't really the point of the day to get fast lap times anyway. It was more just to see what the car could do. So yeah, here's some clips from the first run. Alright, so after that run, we stuck some blocks of wood that I had behind the seat to stop it from sliding around as much. They seemed to work pretty good. That was the idea of Nigel, who's my cousin, and he came down and helped me out heaps on the day. So thanks very much, Nigel. That was really, really awesome. Also had Brett there. He's the guy that lets me borrow the GoPros. He was there taking photos, took some awesome, amazing photos. Absolutely wrapped with that. So cheers, Brett. And thanks to everybody else that came down. Thanks, John, for coming down and entertaining my little fella for a little bit. That was really helpful. And my wife Nicole for showing up. That was really good as well. Yeah, so in the second run, it got a bit scary. The seat was fixed, so I did a couple more laps, and coming down off the intermediate straight, coming into that corner, I put my foot on the brakes, and the pedal literally touched the floor. I've never had that happen before. I thought it was just brake fade. Well, no, I didn't think it was actually brake fade, because purely for the fact that we had just done the fluid. I knew that there was no air in it. I tried pumping it when it did it, and it didn't help. It was literally the pads had gone. So I literally just thought to myself, well, we're going to see how good these tyres are, I guess, and managed to get around the corner relatively easy. The tyres I got on here are just a cheap street tyre, but they're awesome. They're an awesome compound. Super grippy. I not once did I run out of grip, saying that I really wasn't pushing the car hard enough to run out of grip, I guess. But we did that. I'll show you what the pads look like now. Alright, so the pads came out looking pretty average. They kind of started to disintegrate on themselves. I think I might have had a couple of all these like gas lines where it lets the heat out, not the heat, the gas from the friction out, all filled up with crap, and the pads just literally disintegrated. One of them, yeah. I mean they were pretty bad. This one here's I think I might have had a stuck piston there, as you can probably tell. Sorry, excuse the rain. It's kind of turned to shit tonight. But yeah, that's the pads. The pads pretty much came out rubbish as. So I went to town and got a new set of pads, just cheap Repco branded pads, but they finished out the day fine. I'll machine the rotors and get some decent race pads for next time. That was a good lesson to learn. Alright, for the third run, I didn't actually put any cameras in or didn't do any timing that. The car started to get hot. Now this is when the day was starting to get hot as well, so I think that could have been playing quite a big factor, because I had almost 30 to 40 minute cool down period between times going out, so the car was almost back down to like 30-40 degrees by the time it was time to go out again. The car got quite hot, so I was doing what I'd consider a fast lap and then doing a cool down lap. That worked, and this was the first run that I actually did the entire 15-minute stint in. But the car was getting hot. In the fourth run, the car was doing the same thing, but then it went into like a limp home mode, or not so much a limp home mode. It just wouldn't let it rev out anymore. And I plugged the ECU, the computer, up to the link, and it was saying that the engine temperatures were really, really sky high. And I have a feeling that might have been a calibration error. I don't know if that temperature sender has been calibrated. So when it was up at about 140 degrees, obviously the ECU's going, this is way too hot, we're shutting you down. So that was that wasn't ideal. So I let the car cool down again, and then went out, like going by my, I know it's only a cheap Chinese Defi display, but going by that, the temperature was only again around high 90s into the hundreds. So that was when I was pulling the pin and coming in again, or doing my cool down lap. And then I went out for the last run of the day, and did a pretty rubbish lap, to be honest, but it was my fastest lap of the day. I had not many cars around me. I had some clean air, so I pushed hard and did my lap, and then I tried to push to do another lap, and I was quite a bit up on my splits going by my lap timer, but I literally just hit that high temp wall again and just limped it back to the pits, and that was the end of the day. So I got a few things to sort out. But here's a clip of the final run of the. And now you're pretty much all caught up. That was the day. Things I need to fix is I need to fix that the sliding seat rail. I'm going to just remove it altogether and just make a solid fixture, which will be good because it also dropped my seat down by almost about an inch, which might just give me a little bit more headroom because I was kind of sitting with my neck to the side as I was driving. I have to sort out the overheating issue, so I'm going to do some ducting to the radiator, get that sorted. Either go for a high flow thermostat or just remove the thermostat anyway. I mean, as far as I'm aware, the thermostat is only for helping your engine get up to temperature. Having 20 minutes of idling time, before I go out to the track, will do the same thing. It's not like it's a car where I want to get the heater going as fast as possible. So I might just remove that and see if that helps with it as well. Also, my frost plugs on the front of my heads, this is a massive pain in the butt. The frost plugs in the front of my heads are leaking. Could be just because when it was getting on the hot side, the pressure was building up a bit much. But they're going to have to be replaced, and I'm not 100% sure if I can do that. Sorry if I'm waving the camera around, my arms are getting tight. I'm not sure if I can do the frost plugs with the engine in place, so the engine might have to come out again for that. If it does, it does. It's not a big deal. But we do need to get that sorted, because I would hate for one of those frost plugs to pop out and land in the timing belt while going halfway around the track. Really wouldn't be ideal. So yes, I got to get that seat sorted, radiator and cooling sorted. Oh, and also, I don't know which run it was, but I had an issue with my wing. I'll show you. So my wing actually collapsed in the front here. Hopefully it's not too close, but hopefully you can see that. I've actually talked to the manufacturer of it, and he said he's never seen that happen before. And he said you know, there is a chance that it might have been just a weak spot, or they might have put because apparently they put aluminium on the inside for it to mount to. They might have just put that in the wrong spot. So he's actually sending me out a new one, so that's really awesome. Whether or not I'll use the new one, or if I'll just reinforce this one and fix this one up and keep this one and use the other one as a spare, I don't know yet. But yeah, I didn't actually notice that until I went to pull it off at the end of the day. But I guess the scary thought is, if I kept on going through the day and that had come off and hit someone else's car, it really wouldn't have been ideal. So yeah, and pretty much the last thing I really want to do on it before the next day, track day, is I was saying, I mentioned ages ago, is the floor on the driver's side, where the loom goes under the floor. It's got like a plate on top, and it's right where my heels are, and it made it quite uncomfortable to drive. So I'll just probably like do a false floor in there to get that, to get that sorted. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Gonna jack the car up now and have a good look underneath and see if I can see any other damage or anything else that went wrong. But other than that, it was a really successful track day. Okay, so I've got it all up on jack stands now. I've gone underneath and had a look, and there's nothing too sinister underneath. A couple of small oil leaks, which can be expected from pretty much just a slap together build. So nothing too serious. Last thing I really want to do is I just want to check the engine's health. So what I'm going to do is just do a quick compression test, make sure everything's all good there, and yeah, we'll move forward from there. Okay, so I've just done a compression test, and hopefully you can see there the results. So between 150 and 155 on all 6 cylinders, so that's good enough for me. I'm pretty happy with that. That's actually better than what the motor had before with the twin turbo head. So I'm pretty happy with that. So I'll get the plugs back in, get it all back together, and okay, that's everything for this week. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the car's first time out at the track. I sure and hell did. It was really good fun. Next week I'm going to rip into doing a brand new seat mount, doing a false floor, and I might start looking at doing some new cooling ducting and getting that all sorted. And yeah, so thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you next week.